Hello, explorers, and hello, YouTube. It's me, Silent again, and it's update time. And boy, is this update a bit of a doozy. Uh, I think the devs did an amazing job. So right out of the gate, I gotta start with that. Good job, devs. The betas went very quickly from beta 1 to beta 2 to the live release, so I'm assuming things went pretty smoothly for them. But let's start with the updates, and I'll go over their patch notes for the live updates. Nothing you can't see on Discord or on their Discord or on the Steam page for their dev notes. But let's get into it. Right out of the gate, uh, body improvements on the way their system works. It kind of went back to the way Into the Radius 1 works. So for me, that's great because it's something familiar that I kind of already know. It's not perfect, but for the most part, when I'm looking around, because I use hybrid, um, I can see myself with no real issue. And when I move, I mean, sometimes it'll mix up and I'll turn and they're working kinks out. But I mean, that's also how it was in Into the Radius 1. I mean, it comes with the VR territory. It's gonna be just a little janky. I mean, it's no real excuse. You can definitely smooth it out, but I haven't seen a VR game that was 100% smooth as far as that's concerned. Uh, but right in front of us, as you can see, there's new armor and equipment going on. So they added helmets, which we like. Some of these helmets can get attachments to the helmets, like flashlights, and I'm not sure what else can get attached to the helmets here, but we'll get into that later as I go through my playthroughs. I know they reworked damage systems and the way you take damage and what affects your armor, little things like that. Now, as far as equipment, I mean, let's get into the good stuff. The weapons, they added our favorite M4A1 here. So we now have, for anyone who likes the M4A1, which I know a lot of us, it's now on the wall at level 3. They also added the AKM using a different cartridge than and different mags, same as the SKS actually. So those are now interchangeable, as well as having the AK-74 and the short version of it, which is my personal favorite. They now have the modified version of both the AK-74 and the AKM up there. They look pretty much the same, but they fire different rounds as well as having different specs, kind of similar to these two, the VSS Venturas and the VSS Val, where those fire the same rounds, look about the same. They also changed, adding a foregrip to those guns instead of having the traditional side grab there. Now, some other things they added, as you can see here, which we'll get into some other things. They added the lube, the cleaning lube, and brushes. So anybody who knows Into the Radius 1 knows what this is going to mean. They also added the headlamp here, which you can use without a helmet. And they moved some things around in the store. They also added, as far as gear is concerned, new scopes, which I'm pretty excited about. That's a red dot style scope, and a bunch of ACOGs and things like that. So I'm excited to get into that stuff as well. Let's see here. What other new gear? That's right. So they added, as you know, I can see with the gear and the spray, they added weapon cleaning and weapon degrading. So as you use your guns in the Radius, they'll degrade slowly, just like Into the Radius 1. It's still in an early stage, so it's just brushing And the spray for right now, they do eventually plan on putting the ramrod in for anybody who remembers Into the Radius 1. And I know they've talked about doing other things and other features with gun cleaning. And I know that the community has asked for guns to be able to come apart. I don't know if that's going to come into fruition, but it's nice to dream. We're still in early access, so who knows what the future of Into the Radius 2 ends up holding. They've reworked a lot of the backpacks and carrying limits. Now if you're overloaded, instead of slowing down, items will just drop out of those containers. We won't be able to carry it. So now there's the feature of well, I don't know if it's a feature, but you have to pick and choose what you carry with you, which you end up wanting to leave behind if you find something more valuable. So that should add a new interesting aspect to being out in the radius. Let's see. And then the last piece of gear, which should be there, is the Anomaly helmet. I may not have access to it yet because I'm level 1, so it's not out in the radius for me. I did see some of the distortion zones and a different save, so those are cool, but I haven't gotten a chance to try the new ones. But there will be a mask that you put on. It'll change your view, and it'll allow you to walk through these distortion zones safely. Otherwise, you'll take damage. So that is something now to be aware of out in the radius. As well as visual improvements. I mean, do things look a little different in here? I'll go outside. They definitely did a lot with the lighting, shades, shaders, the way the sun looks, shadows. They did a lot with the way things look, so things may look quite a bit different than my first video. It does have a much more eerie look out in the radius, so it better captures Into the Radius feel for me, the lonely, quiet. They changed a lot of the sound effects out in the radius as well. As far as changes, they also added an enemy, since we're talking about distortion zones and things that might kill you. But the enemy is similar to the can't think of it right now. They did add a new enemy. Sorry about that. It's still early and I haven't finished my coffee. But they also changed the way the mimics look. So the mimics are quite a bit different. As far as the mimics, they don't have the red head anymore, making them very easy to get headshots and fire at. So that's a nice change, making things a bit harder to deal with. As far as the enemy I was talking about, it's a close resemblance to the Fragment. So it's the Into the Radius 2 version of the Fragment. There are two versions of it. One you'll have to shoot and it kind of falls apart, and kind of have to shoot it again to completely kill it, otherwise it'll come back. And the other one is a Fragment that if you kill it, it's harder to see, similar to the other version of the Fragment Into the Radius 1, but it's not invisible or partially invisible. It's just less pieces or has more holes through it, making it harder to see. But that one seems to just fall apart and despawn. A lot of other little updates, like the cameras move and follow you, and a lot of features out in the radius. that look great. Which, you know what, we're actually just gonna go out there unarmed, but we're gonna go ahead and show you what some of that looks like here in Peninsula. Because there are significant changes. Oh, all right, look at that. I don't know if you translates well on YouTube. It's definitely harder to translate VR into flat screen. You kind of almost have to see it. But the way things seem much more sharp, the clouds look very different. They definitely changed the center of the radius there. And a big change I noticed for sure is the way the water kind of looks. It has almost a see-through look to it now. But a lot of changes have been made here in the radius. Even the background sounds, if you can hear that. There's just like this eerie tone in the background. Quiet. Kind of reminds me of like when snow's falling and there's nothing out at night. You can kind of just hear that dead, that muffled silence almost. Or all the noises in the background are muffled in a way. But I think it looks great. Oh, and one of my favorite changes here before we finish this video up, for anybody interested or remembers from Into the Radius 1, they added okay, apparently I can't get up. Okay. These fragments again. And there's a lot of environmental storytelling they do with them. Like you'll find fishermen by the river, a mother and a child playing. Or it adds a nice environmental storytelling to the story, to the game. Going out and seeing those, it also adds a bit of a creepy factor when it's dark out and you can't see anything, and you're on high alert, and you see the shadow of one of those. Oh boy, does it get you! So, but the big thing about this update, I think, is for those of you who are still holding out on Into the Radius 2 for a better experience, for it to be a little bit more fleshed out, I think we're getting there. We're very close. We're taking this step in the right direction, and I'm very excited to see what the next update is. This is going to be the last update for 2024, so don't expect anything major until next year. Which is great because I thought the next big update was going to be in spring, but I was wrong. So I'm very excited to see this update, the rest of it, play through it, and spend my time here until the next big update, which I'll cover. And good job, devs. This came out great. It's really a step in the right direction as far as the Into the Radius feel. At least for me, as a Into the Radius 1 player. But I'm really enjoying seeing the game build step by step, and I'm going to keep covering these updates, even if in a very amateur way. But I appreciate you watching. Thanks for the time. If you've made it this far, I assume you're my target audience, and follow me on Twitch, subscribe to me on YouTube, so you can get updates on my my videos here. And I go live on Twitch Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's pretty consistent. Sometimes I get on a little after, sometimes I'm on before, and the streams are longer, but I do consistently get on Twitch Monday through Friday at that time. So you're always feel free to join me. Always exploring the radius at that time. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on Twitch, or we'll see you in the next YouTube video. And because I don't know when you're watching, good morning, good evening, and good night. Bye.